Okay, everybody ready? No? Okay, now I'm ready. Okay. All right, welcome to the Freestyle Gargoyles October 2025 edition. We have some new readers tonight you're going to see, and we have a brand new director, and I want to introduce him. That's Mr. Doug Bailey, and he's going to get us going.
G minor, rock. Wait, what? G minor?
G minor rock.
Rock, okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
First dance. My savior. She looked like a flamenco dancer. I mean, what one would expect them to look like in an idealized version of the universe. The oversaturated cinemascope version. She knelt, her long lashes no more than a hand's breadth from my face. My left arm felt like all the bones inside had been shattered. Every heartbeat blasted agony like a scream inside my flesh. At that moment, a confluence of three things dominated my brain. Number one, monsters existed and there was one outside. Number two, getting hit by said monster was a terrible idea. Number three, the flamenco dancer was the prettiest girl I'd ever met. Ruby lips, dark eyeshadow, her hair was perfect. She took in my condition like a combat medic, just a second or two. I could see her coming to a decision, maybe about me, and if I was worth saving. The dancer unbuckled her belt and pulled it free from the loops of her tight blue jeans. A sheath knife of surprising size clattered against the concrete. It had an inscription on the bone hilt, "Hunter of Demons" in Spanish. But I had other things on my mind right then. Listen, I'm flattered, and I'd love nothing more than to, well, whatever you've got planned. But I'm hurt pretty bad, and that thing outside will kill us both if it gets in. She blew air out of her nose, her eyes flashing. That only increased the allure. Leaning against the corrugated aluminum of the corridor, fragments of bone floating like broken shards of champagne flutes inside my arm, I was at her mercy. "Idiot," she whispered. She touched my lips. My mouth came open without my volition. She jammed the belt between my teeth with force enough to hit my head off the wall. "Now bite down on this and try not to scream. We have to fix that arm of yours." I did what she asked. Mostly. I bit down anyway. My eyes squinted shut. I made some noises I'm not proud of. I may have peed myself a little. Whatever pain the shattered bones in my arm had been sending out reached some kind of supernova inside my body. Within the pain, it seemed like reddish light burst all around me in that moment. Then I fell through a hole in the world for a while. I came awake on the concrete. The flamenco girl was gone. She had not, as I may have hoped for, snuggled me, her injured warrior. Because I wasn't much of a warrior, if we're honest. She probably didn't have any use for an office puke and part-time bass player. I sat up, finding that my arm, though racked with weird nerve tingles, seemed to be intact again. How? How did that work? There was no one to answer that question for me, but swearing on a stack of Sabbath albums, I would have testified to the fact that my arm had been mince meat. I knew that the beast outside had shattered it in a single backhand. Oh man, that beast. I didn't get a great look at it, but I know this much. It was big, it was furry, and it was kind of like a Sasquatch, but not exactly. It had more arms than mammals typically have, and fur like a muskox. It smelled like honey and death. One of its gorilla-strength arms had batted me aside like a toddler, not even looking directly at me. I'd been broken, helpless, the stars smeared behind tears of pain and shock. Then the flamenco dancer pulled me into this building, a wood shop of some kind. Now that I settled down, smelled the sawdust. I considered the viability of going out some other door and running like hell. But the beast outside had other ideas. Boom! 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 The industrial door jumped in its casement. The single fluorescent bulb halfway between me and the entry swung on its wires. The old bulb misfired, sending a strobe effect down the corridor. I said words you don't say in front of a lady. That got me up on my feet and moving around the place a little. I bumped into the flamenco dancer as she came out of the side doorway. She had a 2x4 and a table leg in her hands. "Good, you're up," she said. Nothing on her face made it seem like this sort of thing was weird for her. If this was her normal Thursday night, I wondered where the heck she spent her time. What are you thinking?" I asked. "I aim to kill the beasts. You're going to help." She handed me the 2x4 and the table leg. I stood there like the dumbest of the dumbos. "Listen," she started. Up close, I could smell her faint, spicy perfume. "You saw it already. You're involved, and it's easier with two. I've been in one fight my whole life, and I lost. I confessed this much. Didn't seem to faze her any. She put a hand on my arm, pushing me toward the doorway, towards some kind of danger I didn't want to understand. But she was so beautiful, and the part of me that is always 12 years old screamed that I could not punk out this time. I forced myself to nod. On the safe side of the door, she outlined her plan. It relied far too much on my ability to be brave. I reached down into the bedrock of my soul and found that, well, I was scared witless, but I was gonna do this. "What's your name?" the flamenco dancer asked. "People with names don't die as easy." "Rick, but everybody calls me Knuckles." A hint of a smile touched her face. "One fight, but that's your nickname?" "Bass player, a knuckle dragger." I pantomimed holding a guitar. She shrugged. It barely made sense to me, and it was my nickname. "I'll tell you my name when the job is done," she promised. Right before she kicked the crash bar and we ran toward the monster outside. Oh, I could hear my own asthmatic gasps as I ran toward it. Even running hard, it felt like I was moving through molasses. The creature turned toward me at the last moment, dropping a disembodied human arm it had been chewing on. Somebody hadn't been lucky. The furry bulk of the creature loomed, outlined by the 1,000 sodium arc lights of the generating station far across the field. Like a corona of stars, my brain told me, as if such observations could keep a person from dying when they did something of colossal stupidity. I held the full stud 2x4 down by my hips, like I imagined a spearman from the old days might have done. Maybe I gave out an anemic little shout. Every band I've ever been in has said how crappy my backing vocals were, and for good reason. The furry beast locked eyes with me just before impact. The eyes, they were the worst thing. Far too human. My courage kind of failed, but my momentum carried me the rest of the way. I went low, just like the dancer had said. All my forward momentum slammed the end of a 96-inch long piece of Scotch pine into the creature's knee. It barked out a howling roar. Whoa! Then swung its two left fists down, shattering the stud at the halfway point. Now, the plan got real vague here. Something about not getting squidulated. I clumsily threw the back half of the 2x4, which bounced harmlessly off the monster's chest. It roared again, but it was hobbling when it lunged for me. I pulled the table leg from where I'd tucked it in my belt. When not exactly Bigfoot reached for me, I swung hard and caught it across its knuckles. It did not like that. Backpedaling for all I was worth, I kept swinging with my lame weapon. But this time, my heart was hammering so hard that little pops like flashbulbs were going off in the corner of my eyes. I gave back, panting, trying to scream, but I didn't have the breath to scream. The creature bellowed, lumbering after me. All four arms went up, and I knew this was it. Old Knuckles was gonna bite the big one. Or, more accurately, the big one was gonna bite him. At that moment, the monster froze, shuddered, and fell to the side. Behind it, there stood the flamenco dancer. Her long knife was bloody to the hilt, beyond the hilt even. She swiped the blade on the monster's still shuddering corpse, all business, and put it away. I collapsed to the ground, blowing air like I hadn't since I'd been a schoolboy in gym class. The bulk of the creature started to change. In moments, it melted into stinking tar. By the time I got my breath back, it was only an oil spot on the pavement. Even that seemed to be cooking away like diesel smoke, merging with the rest of the industrial haze. What the heck was that? I asked. She gave out a fatalistic little laugh. Would it make you feel better if I told you? I shrugged. I don't know. Trust me, you wouldn't feel any better. She gave my butt a gentle slap, already turning to leave. You did all right, Knuckles. You said you'd tell me your name, I called after her. I lied. Vaya con Dios. I stood still until she faded into the night. I watched the lights and the steam of the generating station until the fierce sweat dried. Next morning, I quit my job. A week later, I was driving a primer gray Chevy Nova across the country, not looking back. Yeah, that was my first demon, not my last. This ain't a fairy tale story. I didn't get the girl. Nobody came and told me the secrets of the world. But if this random office puke can change his stars, maybe you